U.S. sanctions on Huawei intended to curb surprisingly fueled China's tech surge. But how did obstacles turn into opportunities for innovation? Stay tuned for an insightful journey into this unexpected turn of events. The fierce competition and measures enacted by the U.S. in the technology sector, particularly the sanctions imposed on Huawei, initially appeared as significant obstacles for both China and Huawei. However, surprisingly, these obstacles have sparked a rapid advancement in their development. What might have been challenging for other countries and companies has, in fact, become a driving force for growth in China's technology industry. Each action taken by the U.S. has provided China and Huawei with opportunities for swift progress. While China's chip manufacturing sector had its limitations, Huawei was particularly affected by the lack of autonomous chip production capabilities, a result of the U.S.-China technological conflict. Nonetheless, it is the pressure applied on Huawei by the U.S. that has motivated both China and Huawei to address this gap. The introduction of the Kirin 9000's smartphone was primarily influenced by U.S. pressure. Speculation regarding the actual manufacturer of the Kirin 9000's is widespread. Initial assessments suggest that if it is not outsourced to other firms, it is likely produced by Huawei on its internally established production lines, as no other entity possesses similar capabilities. Insiders suggest that the EUV lithography machine, developed jointly by Huawei and Shanghai Microelectronics, is expected to undergo acceptance procedures by year-end and begin commercial deliveries next year, coinciding with Huawei's breakthrough with the Kirin 9000. On October 17th, media reports revealed that the U.S. had imposed fresh sanctions on China. The U.S. Commerce Department's Bureau of Industry and Security issued new regulations targeting chip exports, thereby intensifying sanctions against China's semiconductor sector. The main focus of these restrictions is on advanced computing semiconductors, semiconductor manufacturing equipment, and supercomputer projects. As a result, major chip manufacturers like NVIDIA and Intel will be unable to supply high-end chips to China. The primary objective of these U.S. actions is to hinder the development of Chinese artificial intelligence. By primarily targeting high-end chips in China, the U.S. aims to slow down China's progress in the global AI domain, where both countries currently hold significant influence. However, this approach overlooks the fact that China already possesses high-end AI chips, with Huawei's AI chip serving as substantial evidence. According to Reuters on November 7th, the Chinese tech giant Baidu procured 1,600 Ascend AI chips from Huawei this year, displacing NVIDIA chips in the process. Analysts predict that following NVIDIA's stringent measures, the domestic AI chip market space will exceed $70 billion by 2024, which will benefit local AI chip manufacturers. During the Q3 earnings conference, HiFCH disclosed its collaboration with Huawei's Ascend. The capabilities of Huawei's Ascend 910 bits have almost matched those of NVIDIA's A100 chip. Consequently, the shortage in computing power is expected to ease. Apart from Huawei, Cambricon has introduced the MLU 370, boasting a maximum computing power of 256 TOPS, which is equivalent to NVIDIA's A10. Hygun's Hugong DCU Deep Computing Series is more aligned with international commercial computing and AI software, showcasing cutting-edge performance. Domestically, the Deep Computing 2 has already been commercially deployed, while the research and development of Deep Computing 3 are progressing smoothly. China's rapid advancement in the chip sector compared to the U.S. is closely linked to the comprehensive suppression tactics employed by the U.S. However, the key point here is that once China achieves a breakthrough in manufacturing due to economies of scale, the related products will become highly competitive in pricing. With manufacturing primarily centered in China, the country can generate profits through various channels, while the U.S. may not secure significant profits. The U.S.'s crackdown on China and Huawei is expected to act as a driving force. China's technological development will accelerate, and Huawei's innovations will gain further momentum. Once they achieve a breakthrough, persuading China to purchase their products will become even more challenging for the U.S. Similar to past scenarios with televisions, computers, and mobile phones, where China outpaced other markets. Inevitably, the chip sector will align with this trajectory, and the U.S. government is actively expediting this transition. With the recent release of Huawei's new smartphones, the stocks of U.S. competitors took a nosedive, directly impacting major stock indices. This time around, there's no denying that Huawei poses a genuine threat to U.S. national security. Comparably, the U.S. stock market holds a significance akin to China's real estate market, with 30% of U.S. households' net assets invested in stocks and the total market value surpassing the GDP by 1.7 times. The implications of Huawei's influence are grave. U.S. National Security Advisor Sullivan's reference to Huawei as a product from hell underscores the severity of the situation. Despite American reluctance to acknowledge it, Huawei's impact on U.S. national interests is undeniable. Huawei's emergence marks the culmination of China's domestic semiconductor supply chain. This development is poised to strike a significant blow to related U.S. industries, aligning with long-standing U.S. apprehensions. Reflecting on the smartphone industry's landscape in 2020, Huawei dominated with a commanding 44.1% market share in China's high-end segment, surpassing Apple, which trailed closely behind. However, due to sanctions, Huawei experienced a decline in shipments. By the second quarter of 2023, Apple's market share surged to 65%, while Huawei's plummeted to 18%. This shift allowed Apple to swiftly claim over 20% of the market share relinquished by Huawei, leaving other domestic smartphone manufacturers with slight progress. Furthermore, by the second quarter of 2023, China had surpassed the U.S. to become the largest market for iPhones, marking a significant setback for China's smartphone and semiconductor industries. However, today, Huawei is staging a comeback. Recent reports from the supply chain indicate that Huawei has doubled the shipment target for the Mate 60 series from an initial 10 million units to 20 million units, surpassing the Mate 50 series by an impressive 17 million units. Moreover, Huawei has informed Qualcomm of its decision to cease chip purchases in 2024, dealing another blow to the company. Losing Huawei as a major client will have a profound impact on Qualcomm's operations, given the company's reliance on Chinese orders, with Huawei being the key customer. Without Huawei, Qualcomm's revenue and profits are at risk of significant damage. With Huawei taking a firm stance and China's rapid rise in the chip industry, they have shifted from being passive recipients to active influencers of the global tech landscape. This competition transcends mere business rivalry. It is a contest of political stature and national power. Examining the tech competition involving the US, China, and Huawei, it's clear that the political and business struggles have far-reaching implications beyond corporate interests. They profoundly affect national security, the global economy, and technological innovation. As evidenced by the imposition of sanctions and subsequent counter-sanctions, this competition continues to introduce new variables. Both the US and China are fiercely protecting their interests and positions, reflecting the ongoing transformation on a global scale. In this race, technology plays a pivotal role, shaping not just our daily lives, but also the trajectories of nations and the world. This competition is far from over. It will persistently shape global tech progress and redefine the future landscape. As we continue to explore this captivating subject, we encourage you to share your thoughts and insights in the comments. We are committed to analyzing and monitoring this dynamic field, and we look forward to engaging in discussions about the future of tech development. What do you think the future holds for the global tech landscape as the US-China tech rivalry continues to evolve? Feel free to share your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section below. Don't forget to become a part of the Revel Discovery community by hitting that subscribe button to stay informed about the latest technological advancements and innovations. Remember, as we delve into the realm of technology, the possibilities are limitless, and the future is filled with exciting discoveries. Keep exploring.